Sean McVay, you sneaky devil, you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're going to flip it around. All right. What's up, everybody? Answers by guess. Fantasy football's inside scoop from outside the box up to week 8. And you're right. Sean McVay, genius.
Yeah. He tricked everybody.
I love it. I love it. I actually took the over on Puka. Dude, for some reason, I was like, you know what? He was at 34.5 yards. I'm like, I feel like he can get that in like the first half. Old Puka would get that in the first quarter.
2 plays, 3 plays.
Yeah, and within 3 plays, I was like, all right, I got that one. So definitely nice. Here, I'm just going to share us real quick, talk a little bit.
Sure.
Tell people who we are.
I think to paraphrase him, and I posted this in the ABG chat, he was like, yeah, I don't know. He really wasn't able to do much this week. I'm not sure. Maybe he'll be active, but not expecting much. Yeah, okay. Everybody thought he was going to be the decoy for Kupp. Kupp's the decoy for him. So bravo, Sean McVay, some gamesmanship. I like it. But if you played him, congrats. Hopefully you win this week.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys. Always look for those hashtags, answers by guess, and ABGFF. Remember to like, subscribe, follow on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, X, Patreon, and Spotify. Hey, you know what? Why? No buys this week. No. You couldn't tell me you couldn't separate that week 14 buy that has 6 teams, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, on buy. It's like, throw a couple here. Why not?
Well, I think it had something. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but the World Series and NBA started this week, so maybe they're like, let's get all the eyes that we can in week 8. We don't want to lose any, ratings because people are tuned into those.
Yeah, very good point. Very good point. And hey, congratulations to your Dodgers against my Yankees. I know you must be ecstatic right now, being up 2-0. I am hurting.
I'm not.
You're not?
No, there's no congrats. They won 2 games. They have to win 2 more.
I totally agree with you on
that. I'm not ecstatic at all. All of a sudden, my oldest son, he's a Yankees fan all of a sudden because one of his friends that lives down the street, first grade, one of his friends that lives down the street is a Yankees fan. So now he's a Yankees fan. But my middle son, Christian, is a Dodgers fan just because he's a jerk and he wants to
be the opposite.
Against, so it's a house divided. My wife is a Yankee fan.
I'm a Yankee fan, and Josh is a Mets fan. And one of my other boys is a Yankee fan. So it's like, again, house divided. Totally understand. All right, guys.
Hold on a second. He's a Mets fan. Is he rooting for the Dodgers?
He's not rooting for anybody. He hopes both can lose. Is actually his words. But he would be happy for us if the Yankees won. So I was like, all right, I'll take it. All right, guys, we got week 8, baby. ABG 3P, propositions, preparations, and our preferences. We're going to go game by game. We're going to go on some over-unders. We're going to see if we're going to score some touchdowns. I figured might as well change it up for week 8 here a little bit. And let's jump in. If you guys are here, say hello. Philadelphia Eagles at the Cincinnati Bengals. Over under Chase Brown, 71.5 total yards. What are you thinking there?
Well, I sure do hope he hits it because Chase Brown receptions and reception yardage is 2 of my props for today. So I certainly hope he hits it. And because I took those, the numbers aren't huge. Less than 20 receiving yards. Couldn't even be 12.5. I got it written down. But I liked it. So I took it because last week he didn't do much. And I feel like they sort of go back and forth with the receiving between him and Zach Moss. So hopefully this is a Chase Brown receiving game. And if he if that happens and he goes over 20 receiving yards, I think he'll be able to hit this number. So I'll say over, and with possibly, he's not out yet, but possibly no T. Higgins. I know they got Yoshivas, and I do have a feeling Eric All is going to get a touchdown this week. That's also possibly a prop that I'm going to take because against the Eagles, tight ends typically do pretty well, and if there's no T. Higgins, that's going to open up a little bit for him. So I'll say over with this one.
All right. I like it. Yeah, they're saying that Moss would get more love if Higgins is out. I don't know if I see that going that way, but Moss, he has to hold on to the ball. I mean, that's what it comes down to. All right. Flip side, over under. Devonta Smith, 4.5 receptions. The Browns come back. Devonta Smith has been nothing. You even mentioned on the Today Show Answers with guests. What are you thinking here?
Yeah. Your voice was going a little in and out, but I get
about that.
The gist. I'd like it better if it was 3.5, to be honest. But even without Higgins, I do feel like the Bengals being at home are going to be able to put up points. I think this one's going to be a sneaky game. I think you want to get as many pieces of it that you can. It's going to be a sneaky, high-scoring game. The Eagles' offense is starting to roll. The Bengals' defense isn't good. Bengals are a little bit better at home. Eagles' defense has been starting to get better. But I think the Bengals are going to try to be more focused on A.J. Brown, especially after what Devonta didn't do last week. I'm going to go over with this one as well. I'd like it better at 3.5, but I think he could get 5. If he winds up with 4, he's going to have a lot of yardage.
All right. Going on to the next game here. Atlanta Falcons at the Tampa Bay Bucks. Over under Drake London, 67.5 receiving yards. Ball seems to be moving in Atlanta. Main guys, Drake, Bijan, obviously. What are you thinking?
This Bucks defense is terrible. More injuries last week. I think Mooney's going to be the guy with the deep shots because that's kind of how you can have great success over the top against the Bucks. I hear my baby cooing in the background.
Having a conversation with himself.
But since they moved London to the slot, he's been productive. 67.5. I like Pitts in this one. I like Mooney in this one. McMillan and Shepard and Palmer. How much are they going to be able to replace Godwin and Evans? I'm going to go under with Drake London, just because I feel like they have other weapons to beat them, and I'm not 100% sold on the Bucs offense without the top 2 guys. And Bucky Irving's got a toe issue. Not that matters. 3-headed monster. But I'm going to go under with Drake London. And I don't do many unders.
Yeah. All right. Flip side. You had mentioned all 3 of those guys. I had literally put McMillan. I put Palmer. And I'm just like, I'm going to go with the steady. I'm going to go with Cade Otton. I know you like Cade Otton. Will this guy score a touchdown?
Well, I think McMillan is the interesting one because I liked him since week 2. It was a name after watching 2 games. I was like, this kid looks really good. He didn't look good the other night, though. He had a bunch of drops.
He did.
And, they practiced all week, so maybe that'll help him. Trey Palmer is someone I feel like is being overlooked. And it wouldn't surprise me if he winds up outscoring McMillan this game. But McMillan could do it, but he's going to have A.J. Terrell on him, I would think, for the most part. Shepard's going to be in the slot. And if Shepard is killing it up and down the field, I think when they get close, that'll help Otton. But again, I said I'm not sure how much I trust this Bucs offense. Cade Otton wasn't doing much last week until the last 8 minutes of the game. And then he was making the craziest catches ever, getting beat up. But I do think if and when they get close, he's got as good a shot as anybody on this team. So I'm going to say yes.
All right, going on to the next one here. Indianapolis Colts at the Houston Texans. A 5 guy to despise. He made the list this week. Anthony Richardson, 187.5 passing yards. Over under, bud.
You know what? I'm going to
Jonathan
say
Taylor coming
over.
back.
I've got a feeling here. Taylor coming back is going to help the run game. He'll be able to catch passes. Goodson coming on, I think, could be that third down back, as I talked about in halftime adjustments, like a Naheem Hines years ago.
Oh yeah.
And I just think the Texans offense is going to be able to do whatever they want at home. I really like Diggs in this one. I like Tank Dell in this one. Schultz starting to come out a little. Mixon's been killing it since he's been back. And I think that that's going to keep the pressure on Richardson. And all the talk so far, all the games he played, is how terrible he's been. And I just got a feeling in this one, he's going to let a few go, and Downs and Pierce and Pittman are going to come down with him. So I'm going over. Sneaky week 8 play. You could probably, I don't know if he's quite as cheap as like a Bo Nix, but you could probably get him pretty cheap in a DFS lineup. Nobody's going to be using Anthony Richardson.
All right. Flip side, you had mentioned him. Joe Mixon looking fantastic since he came back. 79.5 rushing yards over under.
It's such a high number.
It is.
It's nowadays.
Like my attention too, man.
I'm gonna go over because I think Stroud is gonna carve him up enough and salt away the game that he'll have a lot of production and a lot of touches. I'm gonna go over. He'll need a 25 plus yard rush in there to get it, and I think he breaks at least one today. So let's go over.
Fingers crossed. I need him in our most important league. Remember, guys, please remember to like, comment, and share. We appreciate every one of you. What's up there, Scott? How's it going, bud? Scott? All right. Going on to the next one here. Arizona Cardinals at the Miami Dolphins. Over under Marvin Harrison Jr., 9.5 fantasy points, half PPR. Dude, you know, it's crazy this is actually a stat on Underdog. I think it was actually lower than this. I think it was like 9.35 or something like that. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, damn, why is Marvin Harrison Jr. that far low? I feel like he's open. They just don't look for him.
I've seen him making drops, and when he does catch the ball, it's like he's got no juice after it, and they just get him down right away. No yak. However, the Dolphins, I think, are going to be able to abuse the Cardinals' defense, which is, I mean, if this was a Week 7 game, I would be like under.
Yeah.
But it's Week 8, and Tua's back, and I think that's going to help the Dolphins' offense immensely. I think they're going to be able to score. Hill is salivating, and I like Waddle in this one. I think the one that's going to get hurt, I don't know who you're going to say for the Dolphins, is Jonnu, because we know Tua doesn't throw to the tight ends, and he's been killing it. Where Achane will probably be better off in this game with Tua there. So I think that, again, I hate to do so many overs, but 9.5 to me, I think he's going to go over, and I think Trey McBride gets his first touchdown of the year in this game as well.
All right. Flip side, you mentioned him. You think he's going to do good. Jalen Waddle, 50.5 receiving yards. It's funny. I had Jonnu Smith on this one. I had put Tyreek Hill. I had put Tua. I'm like, you know what? Jalen Waddle seems like it makes the most sense.
Yeah, I got to go over. The Cardinals defense, I thought at least, they were going to be a little bit better than expected. Nope, they're exactly as expected. And, the past few weeks, especially last week, they were against the Chargers, correct? And it was like their offense did nothing. But the Chargers defense is pretty good. Chargers offense is terrible. They got no wide receivers. When are they going to trade for Mike Williams?
Yeah, you say that, man.
So I'm going to say over because, again, I think Tua is just going to let these guys eat. They've been starving for weeks.
All right.
Too many overs. Never a good sign.
All right. 5 guys for your eyes. Tyler Boyd, over under 3.5 receptions.
This is so over. Ridley's fine. He practiced finally on Friday.
He did.
But Boyd is just that sneaky guy. He just is. And the way you beat the Lions is over the middle, over the top. The secondary is not that good. And I think that I know the Titans defense has been relatively stingy. But I think the Lions at home is where Goff is at his best. I think they're going to be fine. And the Titans are going to have to throw. And there's no Tajay Spears. So this is so over. He's going to have 6.
I'm going to actually put that down as well. 6 receptions. All right. On the flip side, this guy took over the game. I don't know. Montgomery got hurt a little bit. He fumbled. And Jahmyr Gibbs was like, hey, let me show you something. Over under 89.5 total yards this week against, like you said, a stingy Titans defense.
Yeah, and no Jameson Williams.
Yeah, dude, what is going on with Jameson Williams? Like gambling, PEDs, like you have the wrong people around you, man.
Is this the second time for PEDs with him, or it was gambling the first?
Gambling was the first one. I mean, my kind of guy, but
yeah, I think Montgomery is a little more banged up than they're leading on. I think you might see some Craig Reynolds in this one, maybe some Sion Vaki, but I think they're going to just hit Gibbs a ton, and the total yards makes it for me. With no Jameson Williams for those little bubble screens and whatnot, the end arounds, I think it's just going to be a ton of Gibbs today. So this one's over. I don't like this, Rob. Too many overs.
I know, yeah. You've only gone under on one, man.
And today, National Tight End Day, Laporta will get a touchdown as well.
Ooh. All right, next one here. Your Green Bay Packers at the Jacksonville Jaguars talking about tight end day. Yes or no? Tucker Kraft, 1 touchdown. Remember, guys, guest doesn't know that anything that I'm putting out here. So this is gut feeling and gut reaction.
Here it is. No.
Ooh.
No. I like all the wide receivers to get it going in this one. Love spread the ball around. The Jacksonville offense starting to get it together, but man, Jair, he just shuts everybody down. I really wish he would have played against Justin Jefferson that 1 week because I feel like it would have been a lot different. I mean, he shut down Diggs to nothing.
I love it.
So who's he going to be on? Probably Thomas. Again, I don't know who you got here, but I think Christian Kirk, this is a day for him. But I like the Packers wide receivers in this one a little bit more, and Dobbs especially. I'm just going to say no to Kraft. I think he got his one last week. It was a really great catch, diving, and I think that I'm just going to say no to Kraft. No touchdown.
All right. On the flip side, you said the guy that's going to be guarding him probably over under Brian Thomas Jr. 10.5 fantasy points, full PPR though.
Yeah, the ultimate test, his speed, his downfield ability. If Jair is on him, this is a under. This is an under. This is a disappointing game. It's Kirk. It's Ingram. It's over the middle. Maybe a little Gabe Davis sprinkled in. A bunch of Bigsby. I'm going to say under. Look at that. Me with an under and a full PPR.
Wow. I know. Yeah. 10.5 points in a full PPR is not
a lot.
But all right, next one here. Baltimore Ravens at the Cleveland Browns. Mark Andrews showed up last week. People were disappointed. I dropped that guy. What was I thinking? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, sometimes that's the way it ebbs and flows, guys. 28.5 receiving yards over under seems kind of low, especially that he has been picking it up.
I have a weird feeling about this game. I started to have it yesterday about this time. We're getting ready to go to bring the boys to soccer. And I'm thinking and I'm looking and I'm analyzing. I'm like, I kind of feel like the Browns are going to win. And I just said on halftime adjustments, I don't think the Ravens are going to lose a game until they play the Steelers maybe. I just have this weird feeling that the whole team gets uplifted with Winston, the defense especially. These two teams know each other. The Browns can beat the Ravens. And they're just a team that has severely underperformed due to poor quarterback play. And I think what they're going to do is focus on not letting Henry beat them and not letting Lamar beat them with their legs. And that's going to open up some things a little bit over the middle. So not only do I think Andrews goes over this mark, but I think likely also goes over this mark.
All right. You mentioned him, Jameis Winston. I had to choose him. Obviously, Deshaun out now. Hope he gets better. Ruptured Achilles. Had the surgery. Seemed to be successful. But Jameis Winston, we've seen him. He's take it all, take everything, try to make the big play kind of thing. He's okay with throwing interceptions. 1.5 passing touchdowns, though, over under. And who the heck is he passing it to?
Yeah, well, it's Tillman. And we got to hope that Judy steps up a little bit with a quarterback that can throw the ball. We've seen Judy over the years have one game where he's really good, and then a bunch of the games like he's had all year. Elijah Moore, same exact type of thing. So he has weapons, and then we can't forget about Njoku. And Pierre Strong, I believe, is going to be playing. That's going to help Winston as well. Ford is out. Chubb back, and probably another week healthier, of course. So I'm going to go over this number. I think he's got a ton of weapons. I think the Browns, because of how terrible they've been with Watson, are going severely overlooked and underappreciated going into this one. I'm not going to guarantee they're going to beat the Ravens. I don't know what the line is. If I had to guess, I'm going to put it somewhere between 7.5 and 9. Maybe Vegas thinks it's lower, and maybe I'm onto something, but I just feel like the way Ravens have been beating people and the way Browns have been getting beat up, even though they're at home, I can't see this being much lower than 6. What is it?
I'm trying to get there.
Come on. 8.5. 8, so right there, 7.5 and 9 is what I said. So I would take the Browns. I would take the Browns in this game, not money line. But I just have a feeling they're just gonna, at the very least, give them a game, and it's gonna surprise a lot of people, including me. If you asked me on Tuesday, and Tuesday I said the Ravens aren't going to lose a game until they play Pittsburgh, maybe. But I just have a weird feeling. I woke up yesterday and I'm looking at stuff, and I'm just like, the Browns. This is just a spot where the Ravens coming off their game. The Browns getting uplifted. I just see it. So I got to go over here based on the way I felt starting yesterday.
All right. You know, what's funny is I was telling Mike, I was like, for some reason, I don't know what the numbers are for Chubb historically. I feel like a division game, a Chubb at home could be like, hey, watch this.
Yeah. The crowd's going to be live.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the old Browns versus the new Browns. It's always a good one.
Oh, yeah. All right. My New York Jets at New England Patriots. I don't know, man. I had to think of something. Devontae Adams, yes or no? Will he have a touchdown? Had to make a speech to uplift this team after coming back or coming in 1 week. I guess honesty is the best policy. This team is just, if they don't win today, they're horrible.
Yeah, Christian Gonzalez probably going to be on him for the most part. Drake May is making this offense look a little bit better. With Henry and Douglas, and Jets defense hasn't looked as good as they should, but there is still their offensive line, still too many drops, too many bad throws from Rodgers. I think that's going to allow the Patriots to have some success today, and being at home is going to help, which means the Jets are going to have to continue to try and put it in the air. I think he tries to get Adams one today. I really want to say no. But I think it's going to be yes. The only reason I want to say no is because I've had so many overs and so many yeses, and I just feel like I'm doing too much. Unless today turns out to be a bonanza, which would be wonderful.
There's a lot of matchups that could call for higher scoring games.
You know what? Because Lazard out, I believe.
Lazard is doubtful. That is correct.
Yeah, so I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. I know he doesn't like throwing to him, though. He's going to give him he's chastised and bastardized him. He's out of his life, so it's really just him and Wilson, I guess Conklin or Rucker, or the running backs. I'm going to say yes.
All right. Scott and Timothy, hey, we see your questions. We're just going to go through the games, and then we'll jump onto those questions, I promise. All right. You said yes for that one. All right. Next one. 2 guys from Five Guys for Your Eyes. Kendrick Bourne and Keishon Butte. Who has more receptions this game?
Give me the booty.
Ooh. Who doesn't love booty?
Give me the booty.
All right. I agree with you, man. I think Drake May. I listen, if the Jets can't get to a rookie quarterback trying, I think he's been playing well. He's been throwing the ball well. I can see him playing good. I can see actually all the receivers doing well. Henry, Demario Douglas, which what a weird thing last week with Demario Douglas. Sick, never mentioned he was sick. I started him in the league, and then all of a sudden he's just like, he's out for the second half because he's not feeling well. It's like
everybody. Debo, the same thing. It's like, what?
Like what's going on here? But I guess and you would think they would have to disclose that. I mean, that's like the whole NFL policy. You're going to get fined, so on and so forth.
I did see the Debo one at like 4:15 Eastern. I think the game kicked at 4:25.
Yeah.
And at that point, I wasn't even looking, shame on me for that. Fool me once, but I'll be sure to be checking before games.
Yeah, everything.
10 minutes before.
You're going to have to.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Going on to the 4:00 games. Buffalo Bills at the Seattle Seahawks. Over under Khalil Shakir, 38.5 receiving yards. Cooper now another week in. Coleman looked good last week with Cooper being there. Does Shakir get some love this week against a Seattle defense that really hasn't been holding up against that pass?
No, they haven't. This is so tough. This is tough because I feel like it's yes, but I feel like Kincaid's going to get going. National Tight End Day week, whatever it is. And with Cooper and Keon and Cook, and likely no DK.
Yeah, DK.
Seattle. Yeah. So how much do they have to push? The thing about Buffalo is they'll push, and I like that. They don't care if they're up 30; they're chucking the ball still. And this number is so small that it just seems so easy. I'm going to say under. I need some unders in there. And I just feel like the other guys on the team are starting to roll. I think early on, Shakir was the go-to. And he's not anymore. He doesn't have to be. And for that reason, I'll say under. For that reason, I'm out.
All right. Flip side, over under Kenneth Walker III, 91.5 total yards. Like you mentioned, DK banged up, more than likely not going to play. Does that mean Kenneth Walker gets involved a little bit more?
I actually think they're going to use Charbonnet a bit extra this game. They usually don't use him at all when Walker's healthy. But I think in this one, they're probably going to have to a little bit and want to, especially in the passing game. However, Buffalo can't stop anything on the ground. So I'm going to go 91.5. I'm going to go over. If you got Jackson Smith and Jigba, I'm using them. Tyler Lockett is a name that I'm generally off of, but I'm fine with them this week. They're going to need all hands on deck. I know DK really hasn't been a world beater. He's had a ton of chances, but DK's DK. And without him, they're going to really need to use everybody. Do not use John Bobo, but he'll be active and he'll be doing things.
You leave Bobo alone.
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
I had a cat named Bobo once.
Oh, really?
She was so mean as a little kid. She was mean.
You know me. I hate cats, man.
Yeah.
I'm not a cat guy.
There's some cats that are great. Like I used to have a cat. He passed away a couple years ago. His name was Rascal, and he was the nicest cat. But Bobo, she was a bitch.
Please remember to like, comment, and share, guys. We appreciate every single one of you. We're getting through the games, and then we got these questions. We got some questions from the group as well. All right, moving on to the next one here. New Orleans Saints at the Los Angeles Chargers. Chris Olave coming back. 11.5 fantasy points, full PPR over under. Oh, going through the sky. I like
to the
it.
moon, to the moon.
Even with Rattler as the quarterback, I mean, Taysom
Even,
Hill being healthy too, how I think
even,
plays a
yeah, I
part
know.
into it.
Oh
But
yeah, Hill is somebody to sneakily start today. He'll be throwing, passing, running until he gets hurt. Hopefully he doesn't. But
Jesus.
yeah, I'm going to the moon because I think he gets a touchdown. I think they're going to pepper him with targets. I'm a fan of Tipton. Bub Means looked okay 2 weeks ago, last week. I want them to make a switch to Hayner. Well, I don't understand what the issue is. He comes in for 2 drives. He looks great on the second drive. Come on, dude. But I'm going to go over. I just think that they missed Olave last week, and I think he's just going to just get targeted a ton. And Chargers have a really tough defense, and you have to use your best weapon.
All right. I got actually a very interesting question for you at the end. My own question from our Dynasty League. All right. On the flip side, over under Kamani Vidal, 18.5 rushing yards. Nobody seemed to get it going last week against Arizona. This New Orleans Saints front is pretty much similar, I would say, to what they faced last week. Their New Orleans defense hasn't been the greatest as of late, but what are you thinking?
Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say under because I hope it's over because I'm playing against Dobbins in a ton of leagues.
Yep.
So I hope I lose this one. I'm going to say under. And the reason being, I just feel like because I'm playing against them, maybe, but I just feel like one of two things. Dobbins is either going to have a good game or what I think is actually happening is Dobbins is starting to break down a little bit. I mean, he started off the first 2 weeks of the year on fire, and slowly but surely it just seems like it's less and less. He's not as explosive, and I'm not going to put the juju on him, Rob. You told me not to do it last week, but we know it's going to happen sooner or later. And
Don't say it.
I'm going to say under and hope that it goes over. Under. Now my dogs are barking at nothing.
All right. Another 4:00 game here. Chicago Bears at the Washington Commanders. It's at 4:22, p.m. Eastern, according to this. Over under. Caleb Williams, 257.5 total yards against the Commanders secondary that isn't the greatest, but their front line's pretty good. Do you see them getting to Caleb, and can he exceed this?
Yeah. I really like DJ Moore in this one. Allen healthy. They had the bye last week for him to get a little more healthier. And Odunze has done nothing. So possibly he could. This what's going to happen. If Mariota winds up starting, I know Daniel's going to play. I think it's a mistake.
I agree.
I mean, like Mariota looked fine last week. Granted, they were blowing him out, and he didn't really have a tough defense to go against. But this is your franchise quarterback that you're talking about. Lit the league on fire for the first 6 weeks of the season. And whether or not he's 75% okay, I think I would just sort of sit him down. At least have him there in case Mariota's terrible, and then maybe put him in. But anyways, I think that the Bears are going to be able to throw all over Washington. The only issue is going to be, and this is what I was alluding to, is how good is the Washington offense going to be to necessitate the Bears continuing to throw. But I think Mariota looked okay if it is him, and if it's not, it's going to be Daniels. And if he stays healthy, Washington, their offense has been good enough that they could probably still score against this very tough Chicago Bears defense. So I'm going to go over with Caleb Williams. I really like DJ Moore. If you have him on your team and you're, for whatever reason, thinking about not playing him, I highly suggest you play him.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I'm going to do the stack or if I keep Burrow in our most important league. So
I like Burrow too.
Yeah, I'm in a tough spot, man. Good problems to have, but it's always choosing the right week. All right, on the flip side, Austin Eckler, 2.5 receptions over under. I felt like this was low, but again, with Daniels maybe not being the quarterback, does that change the situation?
I hate this. I hate this.
I'm sorry. I thought ABG3B would be great today.
Well, the reason I hate it is because for whatever reason, I'm just like over. This is over. I just think it sets up so well because if it winds up being Mariota, or if the Bears offense just jumps out on Washington's terrible secondary and they got to play catch up because the Washington defense is fine, but their secondary is not. And if Caleb, who was rolling before the bye, continues, they're just going to be able to score points at will, I feel like, through the air. And they're going to need Eckler. So this is over because, B. Rob could catch passes, but Eckler, that's his bread and butter. That's his game.
All right, let's keep on rolling here. Kansas City Chiefs at the Las Vegas Raiders. Yes or no? DeAndre Hopkins, welcome to the Chiefs, wearing number 8 for Kobe. Well, I'm happy to say that out loud. 1 touchdown. Do you think he'll get it in his debut with probably the best quarterback he's ever had?
Here's interesting what's going to happen, I feel. They are going to use Hopkins in the Rashee Rice, Juju Smith-Schuster role. He's older. They don't want him on the outside. They're going to move him to the slot. He's played the slot at times throughout his career. He's traditionally an outside guy, but he's older. I think he's 32.
Yeah.
I think they're going to put him in that role, and I think he's going to be used quite often playing that. The Juju thing was that 1 week, and then they went on bye, and then he got hurt. And now he's not playing already this week. He was ruled out on Monday. He might have lost that job already with them trading for Hopkins. I think Hopkins moves into the Rice role that Juju was in. So I think he's worth using, but I'm going to say no because it's National Tight End Day and Kelsey scores his first touchdown of the season against the Raiders. They also have Kareem Hunt, who's been playing really well. And then all the other guys, all the other little ancillary guys of Hardman and Worthy and those guys and Watson, they'll be used as well because that's what Mahomes does. He spreads it around. So I'm going to say no to Hopkins scoring a touchdown today, but he will be active and used quite often over the middle of the field.
All right. Next on the flip side, Brock Bowers, 60.5 receiving yards over under, number 1 target over there. But back to Minshew with Aiden O'Connell being banged up. But Myers coming back.
Yeah. And if I am the Chiefs, who am I focused on stopping? It's the only player worth a damn on their team. I'm going to say under. The Chiefs defense is really good. I'm going to say under. I know game flow is completely in his favor. He should be able to get this even by halftime. But Minshew will throw to the other guys. And, it's been a few days. I gave it out to the Patreon subscribers that asked who was the mystery guy I was talking about on Tuesday. Mr. Terrace Marshall.
Oh, man.
Signed with the Raiders.
Look at that.
They need a wide receiver.
Your boy.
Ooh, with Adam gone. He probably won't play today, but I would bet he plays in their next game. And if Minshew stays quarterback, we might finally see what Mr. Terrace Marshall is capable of. He loves to make his wide receivers productive. So it's not Worthy today, but just keep your eye out on him.
All right. I'm liking it. All right. Going on to the next game here. Carolina Panthers at the Denver Broncos. Bryce Young is starting. Will he be throwing over a touchdown against this Denver defense? That's pretty good.
Here's the thing. No Deontay. Thielen's been out. I almost put in Leggett to score a touchdown. So because I almost put that in, I might still do it before 1 p.m. I have to say over because I knew that Bryce Young was playing at that time. Now, on paper, somebody says Bryce Young going to throw a touchdown. You're like, hell no. But I almost put in Leggett to score a touchdown. I didn't do it. I might still do it, but because I even had that inkling, I'm going to say yes.
You know, it's funny.
Jatavian Sanders started to come on a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like Bryce Young is going to surprise a lot of people today. I don't know why. Remember, he's a number 1 pick. I think him sitting behind, seeing what Dalton was doing, saw what was successful for the game and a half that they did have some success. But I think he's going to surprise people. And against a Denver's defense that's pretty good, I think Denver is going to be looking over this game, and I can see Carolina actually playing pretty well.
I could see that.
All right. On the other side, Troy Franklin. I went a little weird on this one. Over under having a 15.5 receptions in yards. So his longest reception would be 15.5 yards. I believe he's averaging about 19 over his receptions here.
I'm going to say over.
You think he's going to have a big day?
I think Cortland Sutton's going to have a big day. Okay. And I think Franklin has emerged in just 1 week as the number 2. I saw enough last week for me to say, yep, he's everything that Marvin Mims couldn't be. And he's their second best pass catcher. And I think that he's going to be used. Panthers defense is terrible. And if Bryce Young does have some success, then they're going to throw a few extra long balls today. I think Nick's running the ball is going to be nice too today against the Panthers. Javonte as well. Continue to roll with them both. I really like Sutton today, and I think Sutton eats after getting nothing last week, and I think that opens up at least one deep ball to Franklin of 16 or more yards that he will bring in. So, yes.
Nice. All right. Remember, guys, to always like, comment, and share. We appreciate everybody in our ABG fam. All right. Going on Sunday Night Football here. Dallas Cowboys, San Francisco 49ers. Over under Rico Dowdle, 56.5 total yards. Seems like they are going to go to a 3-headed monster. I found this to be a little high, but Dowdle came off of a good game before going into the bye week. So
he did. And he's been hitting right around that, if not more. But the Niners are tough. Without Ayuk, I do think Debo plays. Probably going to be no Jennings. But I think the Niners offense will be able to do enough. I think their defense will be able to stop the run. So I'm going to say under for Rico. I'm not overreacting to the Dalvin Cook news. However, if there's ever a game where Dalvin Cook is going to look ultra fresh and spry, it's going to be tonight. He's old, and the Jets really didn't use him at all last year. It was actually pretty pitiful when they did and how they did, but that was the Jets. So I think he's got a little more juice than our recent memory would suggest. And I think it's just enough to keep Dowdle under the number. And I think that coming off the bye, keeping Zeke involved because they're coming off the bye. So Zeke is going to be fresh and spry too. So I'm going under, and I'm sitting Dowdle this week.
All right. Very interesting. Guys, if you guys got questions, start put them on there and posting them. We're getting to the last parts of the game here. We do have questions from the group as well that were picked up this morning. All right. Going on the flip side here, who's going to have more fantasy points, half PPR, Ricky Purcell or Jacob Cowing? Obviously, you had mentioned that Debo seems like he's going to be playing. Also, the same thing with Kittle as well. We saw what happened to Ayuk, and Jennings is doubtful.
Yeah. I'm going to say Pearsall. Cowing was a 5 guy for your eye for me this summer, and the reason behind it was because everybody was in love with Ricky Pearsall, and then the tragedy went down with Pearsall. But he's back, and they both look relatively good last week, so they'll both be used. But more fantasy points, I'm going to go with Pearsall because I do think that there's a better chance of Pearsall getting a touchdown. I think Cowing would have to be more of a deep one. I feel like if they get close, Pearsall is sort of more of that guy, a little bit over the middle. So I'm going to say Pearsall here. I think they're both flex worthy in this one because I do think that Dallas is going to be able to score coming off the bye. Mike McCarthy's typically pretty decent after the bye. So he's had an extra week to game plan for the Niners being on the road doesn't really help too much, but it's going to at least help these two guys. So I think that Pearsall is going to be a little bit better than Cowley.
All right. Last but not least, the Monday Night Football game, New York Giants at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Malik Neighbors, 65.5 receiving yards. Do you think he'll go over under? As far as him being in the news, he had kind of mentioned Daniel Jones not looking his way. Do they make up for that? And he actually has a decent game this week.
Yeah, typically I say the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and he might, but I'm going to say under because Pittsburgh has the best defense in the league, and they're going to focus on him. Stupid dogs.
Yeah, all right. On the flip side, Russell Wilson made the Jets look pitiful last week. Dude, I saw this clip on him about keeping the air under the ball. The difference between Justin Fields' throw compared to the dart throw compared to Russell Wilson floating it in.
Yeah.
And they were showing like there's like a half second to a second difference to let the receivers be able to adjust.
Yeah.
So Pickens with the one-handed catch, Freiermuth being able to have that one-handed catch. What a difference, man. Again, I thought Russell Wilson was done. You had mentioned he thought he played well enough, but over under 203.5 passing yards. What do you think?
I'm over. I like Russell Wilson had a great season last year. He was just playing on a team that was terrible with a coach that hated him. 2 years ago, he was playing under Nate Hackett.
Yeah.
So his Denver years you could basically throw out. Now, two years have passed, and he's 2 years older, so he's not the Seattle guy he was 3 years ago. But he's still got the ball. He still has that touch. He's one of the best downfield throwers to ever play the game. And there was questions. Why would you switch? You're 4-2. Well, that's exactly why. Exactly everything you just said. I believe I talked about it on halftime adjustments on Tuesday. It's just touch passes and just drops it right in the bucket.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys. We are now going to go on to your questions. I'm going to go with
the one thing I will say real quick. I just want to say Giants are getting after a quarterback. Sorry to cut you off. So this is where it will be interesting because they get a ton of sacks getting after the quarterback. So Wilson's going to have to get rid of the ball a little bit quicker than he did last week. So we'll see because against the Giants, I feel like he's going to be tougher. I can't believe I'm saying it than it was against the Jets.
Against the Jets, yeah, you're 100% correct because the Giants actually play defense and the Jets do not. Tom has told me a few times, he's like, the Jets are false gold or fool's gold. They can never get anybody out on 3 and outs. You can't get anybody on third downs. People are running all over them, but yet their defense shows as one of the top in the league. It's just fool's gold.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, we're going to get to those questions. Scott with the question here, Mostert or O'Doomsday?
Oh, Doomsday.
Doomsday. Sorry.
I was going to say, Doomsday.
For me, it's Mostert. I think with Tua coming back, I feel like he's going to get more love than people are going to think.
I'm going to say Doomsday. I think coming out of the bye, they're going to make an attempt to get the rookie going just a little bit. And I feel like the secondary is so simple for Washington that he's going to be able to do something. And I just can't recommend Mostert. So I'm going to Doomsday.
All right, another league. Shakir, Madison, O'Doomsday. O'Doones. Tolbert, Davis, and Vidal need one flex.
I'm going with Tolbert. Give you a little Sunday night magic going against the Niners. That's who I'm going with.
I would probably go Tolbert as well. All right. So I see it says that Jaden Daniels leaning towards playing. Is he the better play even at 80% versus 100% of Dak?
I'm going to say no because there's a risk of him not playing the whole game and getting knocked out. I'm just going to go with Dak. I'm going to go with Sunday night. I'm going to hope that they got right offensively. It's risky, I know, because Jaden has been exponentially better than Dak, but I would go with Dak. It's just me. I'm sitting Daniels myself where I own him. I'm playing Kyler over him. I feel like that's relatively comparable to Dak. But I feel like them coming off the bye, going against the Niners, I like Dak a little bit better. I think the Bears have a better defense than the Niners at this point.
Agreed. All right. I know the routine, fellas. I like the information. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Because I'm feeling brain dead today on my roster. You know what's funny, man? I've been looking at fantasy all week, and I've changed it about 600 times this week. I usually set my lineup, look at it again before time. I don't know. I agree. I feel like I'm just baffled this week. Gotta win. What's up there, Leon? How are you, bud? All right, let's jump into the questions from the group. All right. Let me just make some adjustments here.
Remember that thing that used to be plays of the week? That was great.
All right. Derek with the question here. Start 2, Pollard, Wan'Dale, Dell, or Keenan Allen?
I mean, you got to play Pollard. So I know the matchup's tough. Detroit's tough against the run. And I'm going Dell. So Pollard and Dell for me. I know Allen had the good week that I forecasted in week 6. Then they're coming off the bye, so he's even healthier. But I do feel like they're going to try and get a Dunze going a little bit. Then you also have to worry how good will Washington be able to move the ball for them to necessitate. And Wan'Dale's going to get you a ton of receptions because Pittsburgh's going to focus on neighbors, as we discussed. But I just think Dell is going to be able to pop one. We haven't seen a ton of it this year. I think today at home, Stroud got bottled up last week, 86 passing yards. He's looking to unload. So I'm going Pollard and Dell.
All right. Postway with the question here. With Higgins possibly out, seems like he's more than likely to be out. Sovis versus Eagles or Tracy versus Pittsburgh, half-point PPR?
The answer should be Tracy. I had thought that I had heard, and I mentioned it Tuesday, that what's-his-face, Daboll had said that he's the starter. But I don't know if he is, because after I thought I heard that, I can no longer even read that anywhere, and his projections aren't showing that. If they continue to pass the ball to Tracy, it'll be good because they're going to need him against Pittsburgh. However, if Higgins is out, I think I'm going to use Yoshivas in that game that I think is going to be sneaky high scoring with the Bengals at home. He's been using Yoshivas with Higgins there, and he likes him in the red zone too. So I'm just going with the safer floor here and playing Yoshivas if Higgins is out.
All right, Jeremy with the question. Still think Noah Brown over Hopkins?
I actually have Noah Brown anytime touchdown, and I said that Hopkins will not score one today. So yes, I am still doing that.
All right. Looking for Sunday opinions. Pick 2 running backs, a tight end, and a flex. Walker, JT, Chubb, Hunter Henry, Freiermuth.
I'll play all 3 running backs and Hunter Henry.
I would agree with that. All right. Hello there, Antonio. How are you? We are doing fine, but thank you. PPR, Lamb, Lazard's probably out. DJ Moore or Downs?
Lamb and Moore.
Need 2. Sorry about that. On the other hand, Madison, Chase Brown, Stevenson, Lazard, running back Dobbs. Oh, I'm sorry. Lazard. I don't know what that means. Dobbs, Keenan Allen, need 3.
Yeah, I'm definitely playing Dobbs. And gosh, I have a prop on Madison today. I got his over receiving yards.
What?
Yeah.
Hear you say that out loud.
I know. I couldn't believe it when I clicked submit. So
one of the others, running back or wide receiver.
I'm gonna go Stevenson at home. He's been like a box of chocolates this year, right?
You never know what you're gonna get.
That's it. But the Jets can be run all over.
They have been.
So as much as I want to say Madison, I can't recommend them anyways. So Dobbs, Stevenson, and Brown. Yes, lock it in.
Marty with one
there was
here.
One more down there. Wasn't there on the bottom?
No, he was just describing, I think, what he needed as far as two running backs, and one of the others has to be a running back wide receiver.
Perfect. I didn't even know. All right. Beautiful.
All right. Marty with one. Choose one running back. Moss, Etienne, and Tracy. I'm leaning Moss since Higgins probably out and maybe more checks downs to running back. I had commented. I told him I agreed with Moss with the checkdowns because I'm just not sure about what Tracy Jr. They said that he's going to get more touches, and I don't think he got more touches last week. I saw Singletary actually touch the ball a lot. But what are you thinking?
Yeah, Etienne's probably out.
Yep.
So that eliminates that. I'm going to go with Tracy. I think it's Chase Brown day.
All right.
Moss was a little bit better last week, I feel.
Wesley with the question here. Bigsby in the flex or Bateman?
I'm going Bigsby with Etienne out. I'm going Bigsby, but I would move him to running back because he's a 1:00 game. And if you have a later running back, I would move the running back to the flex just in case.
All right. Darren with a question here. Dell, Waddle, Debo, Wicks need two and scared to wait for Debo, thinking Waddle and Dell.
I'm fine with that. I think Debo's going to play. It's not an injury. If he's got his wind from his pneumonia-like symptoms or pneumonia-like disease, I think he'll be fine. I think he's going to be used a ton. But if you don't like it, and then I'm 100% okay with that, and you're correct. Dell and Waddle. I think Wicks will be fine today. I said that I don't like Kraft to score because I think all of the wide receivers are going to do something. That includes Watson and Wicks. But I really like Dobbs to be the best one today. So I'm fine with Dell and Waddle. If it were me, I'd go Waddle and Debo, to be honest.
Yeah, I think in the same thing, to be honest with you. I'm going to take the chance on Debo. All right. Who should I start? Brian Thomas Jr. or Zay Flowers, Ben wants to know.
I'm going to go Zay. I think Jair's going to lock him down. He's been so hot, Brian Thomas, so hot. And Jair has just been a brick wall for wide receivers. And if he locks up with him today, I like Zay Flowers. I think the Browns are going to be able to score points, and I think that Baltimore is going to have to throw the ball because they're going to shut down Henry and Lamar running, or at least do their best to try.
All right. Chris with the question here. Pick two full PPR, Madison, Stevenson, Chase Brown, Connor, or Dowdle.
Gosh, I can't recommend Connor, so I'm going to just stick with Chase Brown and Stevenson, but I'm going to wink at you.
I think it would be Connor and Stevenson for me. Just the way the Jets defense. I know.
I'll give you this.
Hassan Reddick coming back, to be honest with you, it may make a difference for it's kind of a wait and see, but I don't know.
I'm fine with that, but I can't
Madison
say
and
it.
Connor. Madison just play against Chiefs. Can't do. I agree with Dowdle, what Guess was saying earlier, but yeah, that's a tough one. I would say if you have a flex and you're thinking about starting somebody else and you can actually start those three, it might be an option as well. Remember, guys, merch is always out there. $25 for a t-shirt, $45 for a hoodie. Hit up us and we will get that out for you. All right, let's switch back here. Let's get rid of that. And let's get that. I had three other questions pop up, I think, after we had posted or I had taken the information from the group. So Leon had a question. It says, for the show, are you still feeling Caleb over Murray?
Yes.
All right. And Bigsby over Chase Brown?
Yes.
All right.
I like Chase Brown today. I've recommended him twice, but there's the uncertainty with Moss and Bigsby. We got to worry about Dearness. That's about it.
All right. L34 Glow. Hello. Crafter Otten, half PPR.
Well, I have Kraft not scoring the touchdowns today, and I have Otten scoring a touchdown, so I'm going to go with Otten.
All right. Make sure to subscribe, please. Justin with the question: Chubb or D Hop PPR?
This one will be close. I don't think D Hop's going to score, but I had mentioned, and not sure if you were watching, Justin. He's going to go into the slot. He's too old to be playing on the outside. He's going to go into the Rice role. He's going to go into the Juju role. Juju filled in for Rice, so he's going to get a ton of catches. Will Chubb punching in the end zone? Probably. Will D Hop get enough yards and enough receptions to overtake that? So close. I think they're really close to even. I think Chubb is going to be more needed in this game than D Hop's going to be against the Raiders. So for that, I'm going to say Chubb.
Yeah, I'm leaning Chubb as well.
You're not going to get any PPR points, really. Maybe one or two catches maximum, especially with Pure Strong going to be playing. But I think Chubb will get you enough yards. It's really close. I think that if Chubb scores a touchdown, he definitely does it. I'm going to go with Chubb. What do you think, Rob? Sorry to cut you off.
No worries. I'm going with Chubb as well. All right. Thumbs back up. Right back to you. Justin, make sure you subscribe as well, please. All right. Another question from the group was Tim. 2 running backs and 1 flex. B-Rob, Monty, Hunt, Irving, Waddle, or Bateman. So 3. 2 running backs, 1 flex. B-Rob. You know what? Maybe I could do this.
B-Rob, Hunt.
Monty,
Irving, I feel it.
Waddle.
I'm telling you, I feel like Monty is hurt, and I'm not really saying it. He hurt his knee. It seems like Monty should be the easy one, but I'm going to sit him because there's no injury designation. It just seems weird to me. I just think it's going to be a Gibbs day. Can you repeat them one more time?
B-Rob, Monty, Hunt, Irving, Waddle, Bateman.
I'm playing
2 running
Waddle.
back, 1 flex.
I'm playing Waddle. And I'm going to go with B-Rob and Hunt.
Yeah, I'm going to go Monty, Hunt, and Waddle, to be honest with you. I agree with you. I can see what you're saying. I just think that Monty is going to play angry because they benched him last week.
So it's between B-Rob and Monty between you and me. So we're definitely playing Hunt. We're definitely playing Waddle in the flex. So go with your gut between Monty and B-Rob. Unless I'm fine with it. If he is healthy, and maybe that's the reason they're not saying it. It didn't look good when I did my rewatch last week. And then he was kind of in and kind of out, and they haven't said anything. So between B-Rob and Monty, that's what you have to go with. I'm going B-Rob. He's going Monty.
All right. Justin got another question here. Thanks for the answer. Have one more. Bigsby or DJ Moore? Ooh, you got some good questions there, Justin.
Yeah, I love them both. Today, I feel like Bigsby's going to be able to punish Green Bay on the ground. But I'm going to go with DJ Moore.
You mentioned DJ Moore having a big game earlier.
Yeah, the Washington secondary is just terrible. And whether it's Daniels or Mariota, I do think they're going to have some success, which means Chicago's going to have to keep pushing it, like Caleb Williams, his trajectory before the bye. And I like DJ Moore a lot today. So I'm going to go with Moore.
All right. One last one from Anonymous in the group. Flowers, Pearsall, or Watson PPR?
I'm going to say Flowers. However, the answer could easily be Pearsall. I'm not going with Christian Watson or Justin Watson over either of these guys. So I'm going to go with Flowers in a game where I think Cleveland is going to, as we both sort of discussed, surprise a little bit and be much better offensively and force Baltimore to throw the ball.
All right. Thank you, Justin, for tuning in. We appreciate you. All right. I actually have a couple questions for you. Okay. So my first one is a wide receiver, McConkey, Olave, or Tank Dell?
I'm going to Olave. I like it today. I like it.
All right. Caleb or Joe Burrow?
Yeah. God, I like them both. I'm going to go with Caleb. I really like Burrow today too because being at home, I think helps. I think with or without Higgins, I think they're going to be able to do some things through the air. But I'm going to go with Caleb.
All right. Thank you, sir. And Calvin Ridley, Demario Douglas, or Pearsall?
I'm going Douglas.
Ooh. Man. All right.
I mean, I played Douglas over Pearsall in the ABG League, if you didn't notice.
Yeah.
And the Ridley, I think that, I got to see it.
And that's what makes me nervous. I have Ridley in, but I just have to see it.
I think Boyd is just going to be the more involved. So I'm going to go with what's safer in Douglas because I know that the floor is there.
All right, Tim. I know AJ, DJ, and Otten are my only locks for today. Tough decisions when you actually have a lot of decent options. Plus, I've worked a lot of OT this week, hence the braid dead comment. Hey, you got to do what you got to do, man.
Yeah, you're good, man.
All right, Leon, Dubs or Olave?
Leon was watching the show, taking notes. He's like, okay, he really likes Dobbs today. He really likes Olave. I'm going Olave, and the reason is more volume. I like Dobbs, but there's just so many options. And I just feel like, unless you are on board with my 5 guy for your eye, Mason Tipton or Bub Means, it's not much. Like, yeah, you're going to have the Taysom factor. Yeah, you got Kamara, but I just think they missed Olave so much last week, and they're just going to welcome him back with tons of targets today. I'm going Olave.
All right. Tom with the question here. I've got Dobbs, St. Brown, Tillman, Tolbert, and Pittman Jr. for 2 wide receiver spots and a flex. Sounds like Dobbs will be one. Thanks. Thank you. Make sure you subscribe, Tom. We're here every week. We do shows.
It's definitely St. Brown. Pittman, we talked about when we were talking about Anthony Richardson. I feel like he's going to have a little bit of a better air game today, but I want to see it. Dobbs has the most competition out of all of these guys. I like Tolbert. I like every single one of these today. Pittman's the one I like the worst. Tillman. I really want to say Tillman.
For me, it's the first 3.
Well, he's got he could do 3. Okay, sure. First 3. Yep. I didn't even see the flex. Yes, first 3.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tom.
All right. Appreciate it, Tom. Yeah, remember I can't even speak today. Remember to like, comment, and share. We appreciate every single one of you guys. Currently have the first 3. All right, so we're sounding like we're on the same exact page here.
Yeah.
Then, any other questions, guys? Going once, going twice. Sold. All right, guys. Remember to always like, comment, and share. As we had mentioned, look for those hashtags, answers by guests, ABGFF. And this was an ABG 3P. Looks like, do we have any more comments? All right, Tim, we appreciate you for joining, man.
Yes.
All your comments and questions. Yes, final thoughts there, sir.
Halfway. Right.
Halfway. Holy crap.
We're halfway. This is the last week of part 2 of the season, right? It's like every 4 weeks is a part. I feel like we have a really good basis of information. But the one thing that we still need to remember, you're 2-5, you're not done.
Oh yeah.
You're not done. Let's get that win today and let's keep grinding.
When you're 1-6, though, you got to start grinding very hard and very fast.
If we're talking on Tuesday and you're 1-7, we're not going to give up, but it's a lot tougher. So if you are 1-6, for sure.
All right, Antonio, sneaking one in here. Love or hurts?
I
know that love hurts sometimes.
Yeah, sure does. I feel like I like them both, but Hurts is rolling. I'm going with Hurts. You get the ground, you get the tush push. You don't get that as much with Love. So I'm going with Hurts.
All right, guys. Good luck this week. Hope everybody has a great week and everybody takes a W. Nick, thanks, man. Appreciate you joining and watching. Yes, best of luck to you too, bud.
Yep.
All right.
Have a good day, and let's go Dodgers.
Oh, let's go. The Yanks need something, man. They should have took that game. I'm not going to even get into it. Best of luck. Later.
Yep.